first, second, and third applications are on the basis of the time constraint. The fourth application was filed by Raila Odinga, seeking to access all forms 34A, 34B, and most importantly, carry out a forensic audit of the KM's system. Now, this was the bone of contention at yesterday's pre-trial hearing. We've had a lot of back and forth. Lead counsel for NASA, James Sorengo, they're saying that they feel that the forms 34A and 34B that were given were doctored because some of the security features do not add up, and they're saying it is imperative that they have that forensic audit. They are arguing under Article 35 of the Constitution of the right to information, which opposing lawyers have written off. What is the basis of that application?
When you look at the Constitution, Article 35, it gives a right to information. And IEBC is a public institution. So all information that is contained by IEBC ideally belongs to members of the public, and anybody can access it. And that is where NASA is coming from and saying that we need to access all this documentation because they're in the system. On the other hand, IEBC is saying that, look, the system is an IEBC system, and it's more sensitive if you get into it because there are issues that might happen. You might bring your IT experts, they will go in and they'll mess the system. We don't have a problem with giving it to you, but we need more time. And we need to agree on the time frames in terms of how do we access it, because it's just not open to everybody, and there are security features in there that might be messed by your IT experts. That's the biggest bone of contention. Should that be allowed, then now the court will rule on that. Now, should that be allowed, then the court has to be very cautious in terms of the timelines, because we only have 6 days left. Actually, from today is 5 days left to the petition, because the judgment must be out on Friday. Now, you saw what lawyers were saying, that some were saying it will take 30 minutes. Another was saying 30 minutes. Then they shifted. They changed and said maybe 1 hour. The other side was saying, look, this thing will take about three weeks.
3 weeks' time.
So there's basically not agreed modality of how and what they really want to do.
Because at the end of it, James Orengo said, after 1 hour, he said, maybe the whole process will take us maybe 3 days.
3 days.
Again, is this time that we have?
Now, you don't want to go into a trial or attempting to go into a system without really knowing what you want to do and without knowing the time constraint that you have. But I guess that NASA is very keen in having that done and going into the system and seeing what happened. And IEBC is saying, look, these forms are in Form 34A. What you should concentrate on is the Form 34A, which we have already given you. And they're disputing, saying that those forms are not the original forms. So definitely there's a problem. And that problem can only be sorted by the Supreme Court. That's why we are in the Supreme Court.
So that is the first, bone of contention that the Supreme Court will be ruling on today. But let's, we cannot speculate on what the Supreme Court will say, but it is only two outcomes. They will either rule in favor of or not in favor of. How will that affect the progress or the proceedings of the petition? I will think,
being a lawyer, I will think that the possibility of the Supreme Court giving them that leeway is high. When you looked at sometimes body language communicates. When I look at the body language of the judges yesterday, it's mostly high. That's why you saw one of the judges, Judge Isaac Lenaola, asking them a very intelligent question, but they didn't understand. Asking them, even if you got these things, which were not initially asked in your pleadings, how will you introduce them? Because the law has a way of introducing these things in court. How will you introduce them? So they might give them, but limit, because they want to access all the 40,000 plus forms. So or all the data information. They might give them, but limit. And they will limit because of the issue of time frame. In 2013, we were faced with a similar thing, the retallying issue. And what the court did was, okay, fine, it's a right that you're asking to be retallied. We will allow it, but we will do a sample. So I suspect they will take a similar approach.
Perhaps. And of course, you've said IEBC has not really refused for an audit. They've just said, give us more time. But the perception out there is that IEBC has refused a forensic audit.